I just updated my operating system and my picture is missing, so I'll just be a voice. Anyway, so today our main goal is we're going to build a set. It's going to be an array-based set, and it's going to do the things you expect from a set. So for example, in this Python code on the right, we can create a set, add Tokyo, Beijing, Lagos, Tokyo, and there's no effect the second time we try to add Tokyo, because it's already there, and then Sao Paulo. And then lastly, we could try and print out whether or not Tokyo is in the set. So we're going to do something very similar on the other side, where we're going to write a class job in Java called ArraySet, to which we can add strings and check if the set contains them. Okay. So at first, I'm just going to show you the add and contains methods because they're relatively straightforward and very similar to A-list. And then the rest of the lecture, we're going to be adding additional features to our array set. They're going to make it more industrial strength. And we'll talk about what those are in a little bit. So let's look at the code. I'm just going to jump right into the code and show it to you. Although I need to make sure IntelliJ is open. Yes, okay, good. Here it is. So here's our array set, and here are its methods. So let's start with what is in the core of the array set. So we have an array called items. We have private int size, and then whenever we run the constructor, it sets the size to 0, and it creates an array of 100 t's. Now you'll notice if I hover over this, I get a warning saying we're casting object to t. This is a warning we cannot get away from. It's just a weird thing about Java. So if you want to make an array of generic objects, this is just what you got to do. We mentioned that in the array list lecture, but still true here. Then we have contains. What does contains do? Well, it just iterates over each of the item, and it says, is it equal to x, the item we're trying to check for contains. Now you'll notice I say items I dot equals x as opposed to items I equals x, and we'll talk a little more about that in about 20 or 30 minutes. And then lastly, we have add. And what does add do? Well, if the set already contains x, we return. Otherwise, we stick it at the end of the array. And then I also have an extra if statement here where if you want to, there's an open question. So should sets be allowed to contain null? So could I insert 3, 4, 7, and null? It's up to whoever designs the set class. In my case, I said here in this example code, if someone tries to add null, we throw an exception and say, you can't add null. Okay. So that right there is the basic array set. And here it is in slide format. So nothing new in the slides that I'm showing, but be aware that these are the pieces of code. You'll note that the add method I show here does not have the exception, and I'm just doing that to remind you that was an arbitrary choice I made. You might think a set should have null in it, or should be allowed to have null in it, or maybe not. Okay, so that's going to be the foundation we're going to build on, and from here, we're going to add additional features.